All right. We are back. I am refilming this entire damn episode because my shirt was filthy. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's gonna be a little one-off, like I haven't done one since I did the unboxing of the X100VI, I think. My shirt was filthy. But hey, I'm using this harmonic wireless mic today, so now we'll get to see the difference between this and the wired lav mic, and I'll really truly put to bed which one I'm going to use going forward. We'll talk about some new things that we have on the channel and some things that we don't have anymore on the channel and why I sold them. So with that, let's get into it. So this is a fireside chat. I haven't done a fireside chat in a while. I really enjoy doing these fireside chats, but I just don't get to do them as often as I'd like because I have a work schedule and I gotta do things like travel for work. It is what it is, but it feels good to be back. So it's gonna be more of a relaxed, chill environment. I got my coffee here, unlike the alcohol I had in my last video that I had to scrap because it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Check out my cool Star Wars mug. I got this from Disneyland in 2013 and I still have it. Love this thing. All right, so here we are again, talking about another camera that didn't live up to the hype. So what is it? Well, before we get into that, let me tell you why I got rid of it. And it really starts with autofocus. You know, it's funny, I have this badass Nikon FE here that's a manual focus only camera. So why am I complaining about autofocus on the camera? Those are the limitations of a 1979 camera, but if I buy a brand new camera in 2024 and I pay a premium for it, I expect the features that it comes with to work. In my opinion, okay, let's get it out of the bag. The cat's out of the bag. The X100VI has now been sold. It's on its way to Greg in Pennsylvania, or Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Congrats, Greg, on the buy. I hope you enjoy it. It's a great camera. It just wasn't for me. Once I picked up this 27mm f2.8 and I paired it with the X-T5, this has the same clunky autofocus as the f2 23mm that's on the X100VI, and I don't need. It's just a redundant camera at this point. With the clunky autofocus and the fact that I couldn't rely on it, I wasn't able to take it to Italy with me. Instead, I ended up purchasing this last minute and the 27mm to go with it, and I took the 35 as well. So at the end of the day, you know, the fixed lens system is great in theory. There's always trade-offs when you make a camera that size and try to pack those features in. And for me, those trade-offs just weren't worth it. So it's gone. Took it to LA last week. I did some more testing at night with it and it just didn't perform. Here's a few shots I did get. Again, they're okay, but it just didn't perform for me. And at the end of the day, I went ahead and sold it. It sold in like 11 minutes. Oh, and yeah, I mean, it's a great camera. I'm not dismissing that it's a great camera and it has its use case. Just for me, I felt like it was redundant with the X-T5 and the lens options that I had. I felt that it was redundant. I really didn't need it for me. This fits in my Moment 2-liter bag fairly easily, and the 3-liter Peak Design bag, it fits very well with my DJI Pocket 3 or my newer to the channel DJI Action 4. And I went and bought this before I went to Italy. I was hoping to do some POV street photography in Italy. However, that did not work out because the clip that I purchased, which is this one, which is designed to go on a backpack. You put it on a backpack and then the DJI would attach on this and it swivels around to whatever location you want. On my sling that I brought with me, the Peak Design 3-liter sling, when I put it on there, it just flopped around too much. So I had to buy something different. And what is that? Let's talk about it. All right. That is this bad boy. And I know it looks a little silly, but it unlocks right here and then it goes around your neck. And I'll see if I don't mess up the mic while doing this. And then it locks in. And once it does, it let rest down. I don't want to mess up the mic too much. And then this clips right on top here. And that allows you to have it pretty much at chest level without all the bulk, and it doesn't really move around much. And to be honest with you, when I lean down, it kind of leans down too, and with the horizon balancing of the DJI Action 4, I think it's going to allow me to get some pretty good footage and some good POV stuff. So I'll share my testing video here so you guys can take a look for yourself, and we'll talk some more after that. All right guys, I am in downtown Gilbert today with this little contraption. This is a newer brand mount, and it's newer to me, for the DJI Action 4 and or the Hero, whichever version you tend to have. So I want to test this out today, see if it works as a POV camera setup, and then once I do that, I'm also going to test the Fuji in this 100-degree heat to see what it does. This thing is not auto expose when the light is bad. Now I know. All right, I'm gonna mount this thing to me and we'll get started. All right, see ya. And here we'll take our first shot, just a test shot. I've taken this shot a million times. Just want something to test out this POV with and see if this Fuji can stand up to the heat. All right, let's go. What's the reading stuff for you guys? Stuff I'm doing. Here's what it looks like on me. Okay, this, hopefully it stays level. It's supposed to have the horizon balance level on it. There's not much to this little downtown area. I just wanted to test this out, and I figured no better place than to do it somewhere close. I always like this little shot, especially if there's someone walking by. Probably more like that. Really hope this thing is being stable. I'm trying my best to walk fast and hard and not even care about the it moving around. Just want to see how it performs. And just keep moving. Really and truly, there's nothing compelling here. The light is so flat, it's unbelievable. I'm honestly just doing this so I can test this out. I really like these guys walking across the street here. This is a pretty cool backdrop. I kind of overexposed it a little bit on purpose. We'll see how that looks. I've never seen this arcade bar. I'm gonna walk down to it and check it out real quick. Well, that was a cool picture with the kids in the background. I really took a picture of the sign. I really don't want kids' faces ever in my shots if I can help it. Older people, maybe, but I tend to try to make eye contact with them and see if they mind before I take the picture. Not always though, let's be honest. Took a picture of the arcade machines because I enjoy it, but I underexposed it quite a bit because I really wanted to get the lights from it. Alright, nothing crazy. Let's get back to base. Alright, oh, I am sweating. It is getting hot. I don't know if I am long for this place anymore, to be honest with you. Alright, not a bad little shot. Moving on to the next one. I want to give a shout out to Made from Java. With that, let me get a sip of coffee. Cheers, everyone. Made from Java seems to have a pretty new channel like me. We are on the similar journey. We have gone through cameras left and right with the Nikon Z8, ZF, a few Sony cameras that I tried here and there, my X100VI, and my Leica Q2. I've gone through several Canon and Sony bodies as well over the years, but more recently, he and I have been conversing back and forth on our various channels, discussing some of the cameras we've purchased and then subsequently either sold or returned. And he just recently picked up a Nikon, nope. And he just recently picked up a Leica M10R. And one of my other buddies, Antony, lives in Florida, shout out to Antony. He has a Leica M10R, and I love that camera. When I was in LA, I visited the Leica store and I checked it out some more. And I really, really want to buy it, but man, it's just so much money. When you can buy a motorcycle for the same price, it's really hard to make that plunge. But I'm thinking about it, guys. I'm thinking about it. I had the Q2 last year, year before last, and last year I got rid of it. And the reason I got rid of the Q2 is because honestly 27, 28 millimeters wasn't for me for the most part until I really challenged myself to get out of my own head. When I got the Nikon when I got the Nikon ZF and I got the 28 millimeter f2.8, that lens and that camera combination actually produced some fantastic images when I was in San Francisco, for example. So some of it is just me getting them out of my own head, but when I was looking at maybe getting back into the Leica systems, I looked at the Q3 and I really want the Q3, but everyone's telling me, and including Antony, and I'm sure my buddy Made from Java as well. If you don't follow him on his channel, check him out. He'd probably tell me the same thing. Stop settling. That was his last video, stop settling, and it really hit home with me. Great video. Keep up the good work. Thanks for the insight. I want to look forward to your more of your Leica content so that I can decide if it's for me too. Well, I will say one thing before I move on. The Leica M system's not water sealed. Seriously? This is I'm at 11,000. Let me look here. I'm at $11,700. That's right here. $11,700 for a 50 millimeter made in Portugal because I can't afford the one that's made in Germany. Summilux f2 lens and an M11P. Just those two items, $11,700. This costs $1,700. Think about that. $10,000 less, and it's water sealed. What? Come on, guys. I'm gonna pay $10,000 for the Leica look, and I'm not gonna get basic standard features that are on most of my cameras. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Who knows what I'll do. I've been looking at the Nikon ZF again. There's a deal right now that has a free backpack. It looks kind of cool. Maybe picking that back up, especially now that I have the Nikon FE and this 50 millimeter 1.8. I can start adapting these f-mount lenses on the Nikon digital camera and really try to recreate that look in a digital way. And I think that'd be fun. So we'll see. So let's go over what I have on the channel today. And I just want to make sure that I'm clear on the things I own. Even though I pump up a lot of brands and I do enjoy them all, I prefer Nikon and Fuji, to be honest with you. We've discussed this multiple times, but I think they're all good brands. All the cameras, you can buy any camera off the shelf today and it's going to produce a better image than your phone's going to produce, and you're going to enjoy it. When you get into the nitty-gritty like I do, then you'll start to look at other options and start to get down into the finer details. But at the end of the day, even for me, most cases, any camera I've ever owned would do the job. I really don't need a specific camera to do a specific job unless I'm doing like filmmaking or back to shooting weddings. And I'm not, which is why I have the cameras I have today. So let's talk about what I have on the channel today. I'm filming with the X-H2. I find that is a better filming camera than all the other cameras that I've filmed with, including the Z6iii and the ZF. Why? 7 custom functions. I can shoot I can go between 23 4K, 60p 4K, 120, 240p with just a switch, just a turn of a dial. I can go back to photo and in whatever mode I want to be in photo with just a turn of a dial. And that's hard to do with the ZF, for example. There was no custom function buttons. And yeah, the Z8 had them, but those banks, man, I mean, they're not for me. Nikon, you gotta do something about that. I need user settings. Even if they're built into the software and there's not a dial for it, I'm okay with that. But just, the banks are dumb. And there's only, come on, the banks are dumb. I'm not even gonna get into it anymore. What I have on the channel today, the XH2 and the 18mm f1.4 that I'm filming on today. I love this camera combo. I'm able to like touch the dials, make all the changes, and then come back to shooting without having to get up and walk around. So that's one thing I have on the channel today. Other digital camera, I have the Fuji X100VI as well. Right now I have the 35 f2 on it. I'm also rocking the 50mm f1, or sorry, the 56mm f1.2. I don't use this lens as much as the other ones because it is more of a portrait lens. If I'm going to go out on a shoot or do portrait type shots, headshots, that's what I'd use this for. I've used it a couple times on the channel, and I do plan on using it some more. It's a fantastic lens. It's probably one of the best lenses. It's probably the best lens I have as far as rendering photos, but the 18mm is just a better option for all around photography and videography especially. The last lens I have is this, like I said, this 27mm f2.8, and the reason why I picked this up, and I have the hood on it, which means I have to take this little plastic thing off. The reason why I picked this lens up, gotta get my eye out of the picture so it'll focus on it, is because it's tiny. That's all it was. It's just because it's tiny, and I wanted to be able to have a lens that I could pop on the X100VI and make it almost as small as the X100VI, but not quite. So those are the two digital cameras I have, and then of course we've talked about this in detail, but the Nikon FE and the 50mm E series, which is the budget line series, one at f1.8, and I just picked up a couple rolls of the Fujifilm 200 ISO 35mm film stock, so I can do some brighter light photos. The 400 and the 800 ISO film stock is for lower lighting conditions, and I was finding that I was taking my shutter up to max, which is 1,000 on a film camera. We're so used to going to like 1,600, 2,000, 6,000, 8,000 on a digital camera, but this only goes up to 1,000, so I have to be careful with my ISO on my film stock. So that's my film camera. I also alluded to this earlier, but I had picked up the DJI Action 4, and the reason why I went with this over the Hero is really because I have this, the DJI Pocket 3, Osmo Pocket 3, and I wanted to be able to use the same mic system, and the DJI mic that came with this creator combo will be able to use on the Action as well. So it just creates a better ecosystem. Now, the government doesn't need to they banned the drones already. Don't ban the damn filming devices. I don't know what you gotta do. Don't ban those. I enjoy them too much. So that's what I have on the channel today. Of course, I have a mic, I have a Weevil gimbal, I have other like accessories, this 60D. I love this Amaran 60D light, and then a lantern that I use, and then I have a side light over here to kind of light the other side of my face, as you can see when I cover it. So that's kind of what I have on the channel today. I am looking to pick up a new camera. What is it? Well, I talked about the Leica already, so that's definitely one possibility. But the Nikon Z6iii, let's talk about that. As you know, I had the Z6 II at one point. I had the ZF, I've had the Z8. I love Nikon cameras. I think some of the best cameras made on the market, and their glass is second to none. If you ask me, maybe except for Leica. So, the Z6iii, it's the same 24 megapixel sensor, well, I'll say sensor size, if you will, or sensor resolution, but it is partially stacked, which is going to allow faster readouts and less rolling shutter. I used my Z6 II for some wedding videography a few years back, and it just underperformed, and I stopped using it after that. I only used Fuji for videography at weddings, and I left my Nikons in the bag. Just couldn't rely on the Z6 II, and there's really not a lot of options for changing your video bit rates and codecs and whatnot in the Z6 II. It's just so much more easier to dial things in on the Fujis. So I stopped using the Z6 II, and I actually sold the Z6 II about 6 months ago now. It just was redundant with all the other cameras that I had. But the Z6 III with 4K 120, HD 240, the IBIS system that was in the ZF, which has the, it looks at your focus box, and it stabilizes around your focus point rather than in the center. And you combine that with the low EV autofocus capabilities, and you add the Z8s and Z9s autofocusing algorithms, and that is 24 megapixel, so it's going to let more light in than the 45 megapixel sensor of the Z8 and the Z9. Yeah, it's a very compelling camera. Do I need it? Absolutely not. Do I want to review it for you guys? Absolutely. So we'll see. And I think I could adapt my f-mount glass to the Nikon camera. So whether it be the ZF or the Z6iii, I do see one of those in my future, but only time will tell. We'll see. I got some test footage with the Action 4 that I showed you guys today. I'm hoping to take it out and do a full-fledged POV style photography with the Fujifilm stock that's in here, the 200 ISO film stock. And maybe I'll bring the X-T5, set it at 200 ISO, and see what the images look like in comparison. Fujifilm stock, Fuji sensor. Let's see what they look like. I think that'd be a cool video. Alright guys, well that's it for this fireside chat. Coffee in hand. Hopefully it's not cold now. It's definitely lukewarm. That's it for this fireside chat. Hope you enjoyed it. I will I'd like to do more of these. I just like to talk about camera news, talk about things in the industry. I gotta tell you, I think the camera industry is starting to plateau. You know, there's really not any big advances in IBIS and sensor technology and things like that. So there's things that are coming out that I think are gimmicks. I don't think the global shutter is a gimmick. I think that might be a future advancement, something I would look at. Not right now. I think it's too early to tell. But there are some gimmicks that people are trying to use. Look at that new Panasonic camera that just came out. S9, I believe it is. That's not for me. 15-minute record times. It's like severely hampered and crippled. As Casey would say, the cripple hammer was brought out and they smashed the shit out of that thing. Not for me. I like the form factor. I like the LUTs. I like all those things. I just need a camera that's gonna do a little more, you know, and have a viewfinder. I'm sorry. I just can't see myself not using a camera without a viewfinder. I use the viewfinder so much. I'll get on my belly. I'll lay on the ground so that I can use a viewfinder rather than trying to use a screen sometimes. You know, it's for the shot. And I'm not going to use a camera that doesn't have a viewfinder. It's not for me. All right, that's it for this week, or this video, because this is probably going to be a one-off. It's not going to be part of my Friday release. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, I'll see you later. Peace. I'm back.